رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My dear respected members and my dear brothers and sisters, today we are going to talk about the connection between science and Quran. Our topic is the sense of hearing and sight.
Introduction. The content for our introduction will be introduction of the topic, Quranic references, scientific explanation, how it works, process, facts, scientist and discovery, scientific correlation, significance and impact, conclusion. Team members are Farha, Rania, Hamna, Zoya, Rushda, Khadija, Aiza, and Ruqayya. Introduction of the topic. The Quran mentions hearing before sight. It highlights these senses as key tools for understanding and reflection. Verses emphasize that hearing and sight are gifts from God in human creation.
Science. Hearing develops earlier than sight in the embryo. The feet can hear sounds before birth, while vision matures later. The auditory system becomes functional first, followed by the full visual developments.
Quranic references.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولا تقف ما ليس لك به علم إن السمع والبصر والفؤاد كل أولئك كان عنه مسؤولا.
Translation. Do not follow what you have no knowledge of, hearing, sight, and heart. Each one will be questioned.
Scientific historical insight emphasizes careful use of senses, observation, and reflection guide human understanding.
وهو الذي أنشأ لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون. Surah Mu'minun, Ayah 78.
It is who has given you hearing, sight, and heart, yet how little you give thanks.
Scientific historical insight. Human senses are primary channels for learning and perception, essential for cognitive development.
أفلم يسيروا في الأرض فتكون لهم قلوب يعقلون بها أو آذان يسمعون بها فإنها لا تعمى الأبصار ولكن تعمى القلوب التي في الصدور. Surah Hajj, Ayah 46.
Have they not traveled through the land and observed the consequences of those before them?
Scientific and historical insight. Observation of the environment in history develops wisdom. Sensory input is key for understanding cause and effect.
قل هو الذي أنشأكم وجعل لكم السمع والأبصار والأفئدة قليلا ما تشكرون. Surah Mulk, Ayah 23.
Say, it is He who produced you and made for you hearing, vision, and heart. Little are you grateful.
Scientific and historical insight. Sensory perception influences ethical and moral reasoning. Neuroscience shows decision making relies on what we perceive.
Scientific explanation, how it works, process and facts. Hearing, how it works. Sound waves enter the ears, vibrate the earth's drum, and are converted into electric signals by the cochlea. Thus, these signals are sent to the brain, wave, and auditory nerve. Process, outer ear drum, middle ear bones, cochlea, auditory nerve, and lastly to the brain. Facts. Humans can hear frequencies roughly between 20 Hz and 2000 Hz. Hearing is critical for communication, learn and safety.
Sight. Scientific explanation. How it works. Light enters the eye through the cornea, passes the lens and is focused on the retina. Photoreceptor cells, rods and cones convert light into electrical signals that travel via the optic nerve to the brain. Process. Cornea, lens, retina, photoreceptors, optic nerves and lastly to the brain. Facts. Human eyes can detect millions of colors. Vision allows humans to interpret shapes, distance, movement, and color. Eyes and brain work together to create depth perception and coordination.
Hearing in the Quran. Scientific facts. Hearing works by converting sound waves into electric signals sent to the brain. Humans hear roughly 20 Hz to 2000 Hz. Quran mentions Surah Isra 17. Humans are given hearing to understand, reflect and seek knowledge. Surah Al-Mu'minun 23. Allah create hearing so humans can comprehend and learn. Surah Al-Sajda 32. Hearing is a divine gift from the moment of creation. Significance. The Quran mentioned the importance of functions of hearing 1400 plus year ago, long before modern Mantonia and neuroscience describes how sound travels to the brain.
Sight in the Quran. Scientific fact. Sight works by entering the eye, being focused on the retina and converted into electrical signals for the brain. Humans detect millions of colors, perceive shapes, distance, movement and depth. Quran mentions Surah Al-Isra 17. Humans are given sight to observe and reflect on the world. Surah Al-Mu'minun 23. Sight is a divine gift for understanding and creation. Al-Hajj 22. Humans are encouraged to use their eyes to learn from past civilizations. Surah Al-Mulk 67. Sight is a gift for accountability and reflection. Significance. The Quran emphasized the function and importance of sight over 400 years ago, long before optics, anatomy, and neuroscience explained the eye structure and function. Summary. The Quran mentions the purpose and importance of hearing and sight long before humans studied the anatomy, physiology, and processes scientifically. It highlighted that humans are accountable for using these senses wisely, a concept centuries ahead modern science. Scientific discovery. Sight. Key scientist organizations. Ibn al-Haytham al-Hazain 965 to 1040 CE, optics pioneer. Thomas Young UK 1802, Theomatic color theory. Hermann von Helmholtz Germany 1850s, studied retina and color vision. Year period 11th century to 19th century. Key findings. Light enters retina, photoreceptors, optic nerve, brain. Human eyes detect millions of colors, interpret shape, movement, and depth. Extra notes. Embryologists like Keith Moore confirm that hearing develops before sight in the fetus. Neuroscientist Santiago Ramon y Cajal showed that both senses are connected to consciousness, aligning with the Quranic verses.
Hearing. Key scientist and observation. Hermann von Helmholtz, Germany. Study ear mechanics. Thomas Young, UK. Earlier, early worked on cochlear functions. George von Besky, Nobel Prizes, 1961, cochlear mechanical. Year or period, 18,800 to 1960s. Key findings. Sound waves vibrate eardrum, transmit wave middle ears bones to cochlea. Cochlea converts vibration into electric signals and send it to the brain. Scientific correlation. Hearing. Quran mentions Surah Al-Isra 1736 and do not follow that who of which you have no knowledge. Surah Al-Mu'minun 2378. He gave you hearing, sight and hearts. Scientific facts. Embryology shows hearing develops in the feet before sight, around 20 weeks. Correlation. The Quran mentions hearing first, then signs, which moderate science confers. Scientifics. Keith Moore, embryology. Scient- Santiago Ramon Y. Kajal, neuroscience.
Scientific correlation of sight. The eyes. Quran mentions Surah Al-Hajj 22:46. They see not with their eyes. Surah Al-Mulk 67:3-4 describes precise creation of celestial and earthly vision systems. Scientific facts. Eyes detect millions of colors, depth and motion. Visual pathways mapped in the brain confirm the complexity of sight. Correlation. Quran describes human sensory faculties with precision centuries before modern science could study them.
Significance and impact. First, importance for humanity. Understanding the development and function of hearing and sight helps us improve medical care, ear, eye health, hearing aids, corrective surgery, support early childhood development, monitoring fetal hearing and vision, enhance education and communication methods.
These discoveries show that the Quran accurately describes human sensory faculties centuries before scientific confirmation, reinforces the Quran's status as a divine guide, highlighting its precision and relevance to human knowledge, encourages believers to reflect on the harmony between faith and science. Linked to modern life and technology, hearing. Cochlear implants, sound engineering, fetal hearing monitoring, sight, optics, cameras, artificial vision systems, eye surgeries, advances in neuroscience and technology rely on understanding sensory processes described in the Quran, shows that Quranic wisdom can inspire modern innovations and scientific research.
Authentic hadith on hearing and sight. إن الله كتب على ابن آدم نصيبا من الزنا أدرك ذلك لا محالة فالزنا العين النظر والزنا اللسان التظر والنفس تمنى وتشتهي والفرج يصدق ذلك أو يكذبه. Sahih Bukhari 6612.
Allah has written for the son of Adam his share of adultery, which he will inevitably commit the adultery of the eyes in the lustful look, of the adultery of the tongue in the speech, and the soul wishes and desires The private parts either confirm or deny that.
Conclusion: hearing and sight are precious gifts from Allah that help us to understand and connect us with the world. The Quran says, "It is He who produced for you hearing, sight, and hearts. Little are you grateful." Surah Al-Mu'minun 23:78.
Science shows how amazing this sense are. Your ear turns sounds into signals of the brain. Our eyes our our eyes changes light into images we can see. Both faith and science remind us to use these abilities weekly, wisely, and be thankful to Allah for them. Jazakallah khair.